How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are worth the buy or maybe a pass. My name is Corey. I just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about stocks, so please take what I say with a grain of salt. All right, let's get into the day. What is going on? Microvision, you know, that's what I have to say about it. I'm gonna have to take a sip of water on that one. Yikes is what I'll say. Let me go ahead and take a sip and I'll say hi to the chat, see what's going on. Lee, yo, Johnson, what's up, Captain Cash? Today's my birthday, so I can't stay too long. Blessings. Hey, that's, oops, I forgot to reply to this person. Johnson, happy birthday, my friend. That's awesome. Are you doing anything fun? Very, very cool stuff. Lee, oh, I already said hi, Lee. Happy birthday. Yo, let's get these dips for the tendies. Dog says ready to buy more tomorrow if it dips to DCA. Dips to DCA. I don't know what that acronym stands for. Let it roll, Corey. I'll ask Corey to sing you happy birthday. Happy, no, I'm just playing. But happy birthday, my friend. Let's see, Manny, what's up? We got Matt Core, singular, not Matt Cores. So we got fake Matt Cores up in here. Momo Moon Gang. What happened to share recount DCC005? Explain yourself, Mister. DCC005 should be coming back. The recount, poof. Who knows? Who knows what happened with the recount? Hopefully something will be happening very soon. Some kind of information, but currently, unfortunately, nothing. Holy smokes, I'm getting text after text after text after text. Unreal. So, what do you think about HCMC stock? I love HCMC. I do have a position in HCMC. I have actually 250,000 shares at a price of 0.0045 per share. Whole lot of, I'm down a lot is what I'll say. But I'm still holding strong. I plan on averaging down when and if we go to the moon. That is one of the stocks I will be averaging down on and holding long term. AMC had a fire sale today. Let's take a look. Here's HCMC. What are they looking at? I knew I should have averaged down on HCMC whenever I had the chance. HCMC 0.0018 still. It was at 0.11 for so long, or 0.0011 for so long. And I should have averaged down. I knew I should have averaged down, but realistically, I just kept adding to AMC and GameStop, which I'm really not even mad about. But, you know, all good. AMC down almost just under 6% on the day. And then in the after hours down another 0.1%. So that's what that is. Let's see what GameStop is doing. GameStop down just 1.34% on the day. Really not too worried about it too much, but feeling pretty good about it. See, Daryl has a bunch of shares, don't you, Daryl? And so I wonder what price you got in on, because I'm jealous now. Raptor says, happy Thursday. Special guest today, Ken Griffin. Oh, gosh, can you imagine? Dog says, did his new monitor give out already? New monitor is doing fan-freaking-tastic. No problems yet. So, you know, we will see what happens. Hopefully it continues to do well. If it does well within a week or something, then I'll feel pretty good about it. We got fake Jim Cramer in the house saying, man, stop watching my meltdown video. Sorry, Jim. Man, I felt bad. Like, I watched it and I'm like, man, this poor guy has just been beaten into the ground. I think it's hard for somebody like Jim Cramer, right? Jim Cramer, he like, you know, you can tell he just wants to be liked. Who doesn't want to be liked? You know what I mean? And so poor Jim Cramer really wants to be liked. He can't stand the thought of like somebody not liking him, which if, you know, someone didn't like me, I'd say, ah, okay, well, you know, I don't get it, but sure. Whatever you want. Like, it's not going to bother me. Just be respectful. And Jim Cramer just can't handle it at all. He's like, it's almost like, you know, someone desperately seeking, like, I don't know, their parental approval or something like that. I don't know. Kind of weird, but that's all right. Dog says, will the real Jim Cramer please stand up? Ginger, hola. NASCAR says, remember the high-flying EBET IPO? The same underwriter is writing about or is about to IPO FLGC. Let's see if we can take a look at FLGC. Upcoming IPOs. Oh, I wonder how this works. Can I click on anything in here? IPO. What is the date for the IPO? What do these guys do? Profile. Flora growth. They do flower. Cool stuff. I wonder what's going to happen with this one. I'm scared with IPOs, man. I've been burned on all the IPOs I've ever wanted to jump on, or I ever have jumped on. I've been burned on, and I'm gonna have to take a step back. I'm gonna have to stick to my rule this time of not buying an IPO. But don't worry, I'm sure I'll be wrong about this one. What are they IPOing at, I wonder? But I shouldn't even look at it, because honestly, it would not do well for me, I bet. But it is what it is. I don't know. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but that's all right. Oh, dollar cost average. DCA. So me have smooth brain. So don't mind me, but that makes sense. To dollar cost average. Learning. Alfred, what's up, big homie? Spending time with my family. Johnson, the best, man. That's the best, you know. It's so funny because, like me, you know, now I live like away from my family. My family lives in Florida. I'm in Texas, and family time is just so it's weird, you know. It's like, it's crazy how when you have it, it's one of those you don't know what you have until it's gone type situations. I guess I always did appreciate family, you know, my family and them just being around and stuff, but definitely miss them, you know. So do plan on going back very, very soon. Steve says GME has been dropping in the morning and bouncing back in the afternoon for a few days. Steve, so that's a good point, you know, and noticing those trends are, you know, something very good. And especially whenever I'm looking for entry points, I do think about that, especially for like the mornings. If I'm looking for an entry, I'll see if I can find something in the morning. But, you know, it's not always like that. But sometimes I do notice a lot of volatility there in the morning, within like the first hour of the morning. Eric says, Corey, how you doing? Stayed out of the market today, waiting till tomorrow to see what happens. I love it, Eric. I love that so much, because everyone is always, you know, me included, right? Well, actually, I've been pretty good about chilling in the market and just kind of holding and keeping my head, you know, busy. Because if I think about stocks all day and look at the charts all day, I mean, I'll go crazy. And I'm sure some people are better at looking at the, that can just watch it all day. And here's it, I don't mind watching it all day, but whenever you're waiting for an entry point, or you're down and you're watching how down you are, it doesn't feel good. And so I love it. Sometimes you just take a step away, and guess what? They'll be there tomorrow. Set an alert if you're really concerned about something. But if you're just going to be holding, whether it goes up or down, just step away for a day and just clear your mind. You know, really take the weekends to, and that's something I've kind of been doing a little bit more, is taking the weekend to like zen out and tune out of like some, you know, obviously I can't really tune out too much because I'm always looking for good content, but it's nice sometimes to just shut down and not pay attention just for a second, because we're at it all day, every day of the week, just looking for some kind of good plays. Eric says, Mavis is a big overreaction, and planning planning on adding some to my portfolio. Yeah, realistically, I mean, I don't know what's been going on with the stock. Let's pull up Microvision and see what's been going on. I do also want to take a look at the DTCC filings. Filings. Whoops, they're too high. 0.5. Okay, nothing crazy here. Nothing crazy here. And nothing crazy here. Okay. So just chilling, just waiting. Microvision earnings. Okay. Quarterly results. Q1. April 29th. Any highlights here? Okay, so yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Let me go back here a little bit. You know, it's sad. I like to look at Yahoo Finance because they usually structure it pretty well. But unfortunately, I'm not seeing any kind of structure that I really like. This is exactly from the article, but I guess it's a little bigger, a little bit easier to read. So let's read through this really quick. Let's see. Okay, Q1 results. Revenue for the first quarter of 2021 was 0.5 million compared to 1.5 million for the first quarter of 2020. So not good at all, down a whole million. Yikes. Microvision's net loss for the first quarter was 6.2 million or 0.04 per share compared to a net loss of 4.9 million or 0.04 per share in the first quarter of 2020. The company ended the first quarter of 2021 with 75.3 million in cash and equivalents compared to 16.9 million at the end of the fourth quarter of 2020. That's a lot more cash. Okay. Let's look at this quote. The quote is, "We remain on track in advancing our automotive LiDAR development program as the company completed its A-sample LiDAR hardware and development platform for on schedule, sorry." Said Sumit Sharma, which is the CEO of Microvision. We are prepared and plan to share key performance data with potential customers, partners, or parties interested in a strategic transaction. We expect that a version of the first generation long range LiDAR sensor, which is something they just completed, after internal and external validation, reliability, and compliance testing could be available for sale in initial quantities in the third or fourth quarter of 2021. As we previously reported, additionally, with the recent completion of 2 at-the-market equity raises, we believe the company is in a strong financial position, which enhances our ability to negotiate with potential strategic partners, in my opinion, aka buyouts. So realistically, what does this mean for me? So if you've been thinking about, so I already have kind of a position in Microvision. It kind of doesn't feel good whenever I was in the money over here and I'm way out of the money. And so we'll see what continues to happen. Realistically, I'm not too sure what's going to happen with this stock unless something is announced soon. If something really good happens with this, some kind of positive news, I feel like it could probably stay down here. You know what I mean? Stay below that $20 mark. I would not be surprised at all if it stayed around, if it continue to go down under the $18 mark and just held for a little bit. But I do think that as it gets closer to Q3, 4? Or was it a certain specific month? The third or fourth quarter of 2021. So I do think, getting in before the third or fourth quarter. So, realistically, if it was me and I was looking to get a position into Microvision, I would personally probably start entering now. And I would probably put, 25-50% of what I want to put into Microvision, and as it goes down, I would probably continue to add to my position because if I need to average down, and because I think it's going to be super bullish as they continue with this. And keep in mind, like, what they're trying to do is they're trying to negotiate with potential strategic partners. They're looking for a partner. They want to say, we are working with Toyota to get in the cars and work on the LiDAR, and they want to be first to market with these autonomous vehicles using our LiDAR. And apparently I think I saw something with their long range LiDAR. They actually were able to solve some of the LiDAR issues. So if you're not familiar with LiDAR, there's different kind of issues. Think of it almost like infrared. And so whenever you have infrared, if there's like let's say it's raining, it can affect it, right? Which is obviously no good, no bueno. So, things to think about like that. And I think the long range LiDAR, it passed some tests with some of those issues that people have been concerned about previously. And they were able to, I guess they changed the refresh rate or the hertz or something like that in order for it to see better in certain conditions. So, they're definitely on the right track. But I think that they, whether they partner with another, I don't know who they would partner with, someone who maybe is in a similar sector, like working on LiDAR, and they combine, or if they get a partner who was actually like maybe even some kind of buyout. I think that would be extremely bullish for this company. And realistically, end of 2021, I'd be surprised if it wasn't over like $30 or something, right? That's my personal thought. Trey's trades at the beginning of the year, he was saying this is, I believe his prediction was it was going to be over $100 within the first before the end of the year. I believe that was his prediction. So holy smokes, you know. Let's continue on. Raphael, I'm not freaking leaving. Nemo Vergonzo says, good, this morning probably, where was it? Oh, Johnson says, Captain Cash with the super chat. Captain Cash, for you to buy 2 shares of AMC, remember, one day they will be worth 2K or 200K. Do you think the squeeze will happen before July 1st? You know, I am bullish for around that time frame. Personally, May, June, July. I do like July. Personally, I do have some call options for July, but I also have them for September, just because I like to be super safe whenever it comes to these kinds of options, just because I don't want them to expire worthless, which is about to happen with me for Microvision. Getting very close, getting a little nervous, but hopefully I can just cash out. I should have cashed out whenever I was up here, but you know, what are you gonna do? But I do like July 1st, honestly. Where do these options go? Is it July? I like July 16th. So, you know, but my only concern is these filings, if they have been approved or not, right? So we know we're waiting on 801, and realistically, I do think they're trying to pass it as soon as possible, but there are several, it could take several months for it to pass, just because of the it's not because of the approval process. If it's not approved by everybody, it could take a little bit longer. I'm not sure who needs to approve it or their entire process, but from my understanding, it could be kind of delayed if not everyone agrees. So they're trying to get everyone to agree, something along those lines that would delay it to be passed. But I feel like July is pretty good. Personally, I do have some in July and I do have some in September. So, but yeah, I feel good about it for sure. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Hope you have a happy birthday. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What's up, Julian? Jeremy says, wait, just got here. What happened to Mavis? 14.24% down happened to Mavis. But that's all right. Daryl says, HDMC, I feel whatever the lawsuit does, they will still produce $1 down the road. So why not enjoy the ride? Daryl, I'm with you 100%, my friend. Whatever the lawsuit, whichever way the lawsuit goes, part of me actually hopes that it goes not in their favor so I can average down. You know what I mean? Because I will, whether they win the lawsuit or lose the lawsuit, doesn't matter to me. I will add to my position anyways, because it's just a solid company. Like, whenever you have ownership like that and they're able to provide, to reproduce, whether they're franchises or not, whenever they're able to reproduce multiple stores that have very, very, very good ratings, that's not easy. You can't, you know, that kind of customer service, that kind of brand loyalty, that kind of positive image, you can't even buy it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to even do, and they've done it in multiple locations. So that's why I like the company so much. I'm sure their employees are probably happy as well. So that's why I like the company so much, just because everything about it is good. Even though I think their products are kind of contradictory. Like their store, right, is all about healthy products, healthy, good living, you know, fresh smoothies, blah, blah, blah. And then they have, like, you know, vape type, nicotine type stores, which for me is kind of like counter stuff. But you know what? I go where the money is. So it is what it is. Paul says, don't be an AMC Debbie Downer. May is our month, and you can take that to the bank, literally, if it is our month. So we'll see. But you know what else was our month? April and the quadruple witching. But nah, I'm just messing. But you know, we'll see. Here's this deal. Am I leaving? No, I ain't freaking leaving. So I'll hold. I'll continue to hold, and I like it. Oh my gosh, I hadn't even seen the after hours yet. Mavis down an additional 18.89% in the after hours. Oh my gosh, we're at $14. You know, I'm looking at this and it didn't even click for me. Wow. I do feel, however, I feel like this is severely oversold. And this is one of those situations where I'm thinking of, I'm wondering if I want to add to my position and buy either options or something at this point, just because I feel like it's oversold right here. And I feel like it probably is going to bounce. But that is obviously a little bit risky, so keep that in mind. But this seems weird. This seems super off. Let's see what the news is saying here. Sales. You know, here's the deal. Q1 misses, but you know what? They missed their price target. Doesn't mean it's a bad company. Doesn't mean it's a bad product. Doesn't mean anything. Like, LiDAR remains on schedule. They're all on schedule. Sure, right now in the current moment, they're not looking so hot. But you know what? Like, I don't even care about that. Like, what happened? Well, I care a little bit because of my options. But, gosh, the stock is down so far. But now 19% is dropping pretty hard. But I feel like people, and I personally feel like this is a lot of, if more traditional investors are in here, we know, what do they look for? They're looking for the earnings call. That's a big deal for a lot of investors, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? If they're not doing well or whatever, like, then it is what it is. But their product isn't changed. They're still doing well. They're still on par, and I think it's still going to be good long term. Just, you know, right now it's probably just on sale because this is really not representative of how the company is, how their product is. Maybe financially it's not looking so good, although they have a bunch of money in cash. So maybe I missed something a little bit there, but I'm not as bearish as this chart looks. I think this chart is a little, somebody said it in the chat. They're like, it's exaggerated. It's really not, it doesn't match what I think is going on. Pole says, I broke down today. Got me 15 shares of GME. I now have 25. Jeez. Mohammed says, hey, Corey, what do you think? What is this? Oh. Mohammed says, hey, Corey, what do you think about 800 call options that expire on July 16th? Do you think it's going to squeeze before that one? Here's the deal. I've thought about it personally for GameStop as well. But for me, it's just my small brain can't comprehend these big numbers. These are some big numbers. Oh, can I even? Oh, June, July. Whoops. Let me close this and open July. See, these big numbers, I don't know. Wait, why is this so expensive? This is $63,000. No, this is a put. Oh my gosh. This is $535. I was so confused. Oh my gosh. So anyways, yes, this right here, let's see what the upside is, right? I mean, here's the deal. You get upside very, very quick. Excuse me. Sorry about that. You get upside very, very quickly. The question is it going to hit? And it's so hard. So let's see, May, we'll say June, July, 2 months is just so scary for me because a lot can happen in 2 months and a little can happen in 2 months. That's why I personally am so careful whenever it comes to these, because for me, I see 4 months being the maximum before a squeeze. That's kind of my personal thought here. And so let's say May, June, July, August, September. And 4 months for me was at the beginning of April. So realistically, June, July, August, I guess it was. So August. So, you know, for me, it would have been August. And so June, July, August, September, October. So for me personally, I just like the October ones, but keep in mind, it is a higher premium. Of course, it's going to be $1,200 to get in on this. But, you know, for me, it's just, it's a little, you know, it's just safer and it's just worth it in my personal opinion. But of course, you know, if you're right, then great, you know, but for me, I'd rather pay the premium just to have a little more time to be right. And so that's where I kind of come into play. But here's the deal. If this prints, then you're good. You just made money. You made some serious money. But I did. So personally, I've been looking at the AMC ones. And so for June right here, for June, I did get the $40 strike. And just because here's the deal. I mean, this money is just ridiculous for it to hit these. So I did get these. I got a few of these and a few of the September ones. Steve says, hedge funds have been so predictable nowadays. I wish I could get a bit more creative because all we had to do was just hold until our imminent MOAS. Paul says, just an FYI, AMC will be flat tomorrow. Don't watch it if you can't take it. Hamo says, I buy the rips and sell the dips. It works. I think you said that backwards, unless that's what you're doing, in which case, I'm sorry, my friend. That's why I hold, because I don't want to do that. Ian says, what's up? I say that to the wife, and she is not buying it, Corey. I don't know what I said. Let's see. Steve says it's crazy how SPY ended exactly at 420. Lewis, what is up, Lewis? Lewis says, hi. Do you think anything will change for AMC just because of the 43 million shares they may put on the market? Lewis, we did talk about this yesterday a little bit, but basically what I said is, I'm not worried if they put those shares on the market. I think the apes are going to eat it up. The only thing I'm worried about, and this is what I said yesterday, the only thing I'm worried about is if they release those shares and apes they freak out. That is my only concern, if apes freak out and they panic sell. Other than that, I don't think it'll really affect anything. And if Adam Aaron released it, he does take credit each time. He says each, and it, you can kind of look at the chart. Each time he's released the shares, the stock has gone up, doubled at the minimum. So according to him, and we can fact check this, of course, but yeah, so each time he releases shares, the stock has gone up. So if he releases them, he's not a fool. He doesn't want, he wants us to be happy, and I'm sure he's rooting for a squeeze at the very least for us. And I'm sure he's hoping that it squeezes, we stay brand loyal to AMC, and that kind of makes sense, right? So I do think that it'll be I think he'll do it smartly if it does happen. Hopefully it'll come with some good news as well. We raised capital, and this capital is going to do this for the company, which is fantastic. And so if he does it the proper way, which I think he will, he's done a fantastic job in my opinion this entire time, speaking with the media, keeping the apes bullish, and keeping the motivation. He's done a fantastic job on all of that, even canceling the 500 million shares that he doesn't really need in the moment, but he would like just to keep in his arsenal. He's done a freaking-tastic job, in my opinion, with I think everything. So I'm really not worried about that. The only concern of it, and that's why I'm trying to raise this awareness that maybe this could be a good video just so people could share or something. I don't know, just because I'd hate for people to freak out and panic sell. That's my only concern about the 43 million shares. If you released it all at one time, I wouldn't be so concerned. Lewis says again, so thank you for responding. Do you think AMC can sell the shares not on the market but only to the hedge fund so they can cover their calls? Well, here's the deal. Like, why would Adam Aaron, and this is something I've seen this question, maybe I don't fully understand the way it works or something, but why would AMC sell the shares to the shorts directly? You know what I mean? The people who are heavily shorting it, why would they sell those shorts to them? You know what I mean? Or why would they let them use those shares to short their own company? So I think that's maybe I don't understand it, or maybe that's been brought up in Wall Street Bets or something, but I don't think they would do that. Like, why would they unless they try to raise the capital that way. But even then, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Ian says, Adam Aaron probably has a share recount. He probably, maybe he knows the squeeze is going to be so nasty that he'd better retain the 43 million shares and sell it when it happens. Right. That's a good point, right? And that is one theory that I kind of spoke about yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of held it, and if it ran up, you know, maybe if it ran up even to 20 bucks, he would have released them. I don't think it would really negatively affect the squeeze. Because I think there'll be so much pressure at that point, especially if the hedge funds are being margin called. I think it'll be okay. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we released it while the price is a little bit higher. Lewis says, oh my gosh, I caught you in time. Why are my notifications working? I don't know, Lewis. That's so weird. Just make sure it says all notifications. Sometimes it's like some notifications or something. I don't know what's going on. Akari says, I made $50 off Mavis this week and used it to buy AMC. It was just barely enough to get me 700 shares. Nice. Very nice. Ginger said, I bought my first call option today, $25. Very, very nice. What'd you buy, Ginger? Philly says, what do you think about May 19th, established on April 28th, and May 19th is the final deadline for hedge funds to purchase all failure to deliver synthetics, January, February, March, April, May, or all their assets will be liquidated. Philly, where's that at? I'd love to see that document. You can send it to me in the Discord or something. If that's true, here's the deal. I wonder what about their old like failure to delivers, because realistically they have the T plus, what is it? They're supposed to, realistically, they haven't been delivering, from my understanding, their failures to deliver. They've just been continuously putting it off, kicking the can down the road, and they haven't been delivering them. And so they're paying fees on that, right? They're paying fines, but realistically, there's no real implication to them not paying. You know what I mean? Like, from my understanding, and which is what one of the issues is with the DTC and SEC, like all the SEC, like they really don't seem to care. They're collecting their checks, so they're like cool, but it doesn't seem to really matter. But if you have a document on something like that, I would love to see that. But again, I'm super weary with dates, because how many dates we've had, so many dates so far, and they haven't really panned out. So I'm chilling. If it happens if it happens on May 19th, cool. Realistically, my date is January 2022. If January 21st, 2022, technically. And so hopefully, because that's when my call options expire. And realistically, if I'm holding till then, I'm going to see where the stock is. I plan on it at least doubling or something by then naturally, just because of movie momentum and, you know, sentiment and stuff. And if anything happens before January 1st, 2022, I'm happy. If it happens, if it doesn't happen before then I guess I'm going to have to find some cash to exercise my my options and buy the shares. But, you know, no worries. Joe says, any wrinkle brains in here can help me look into something about Citibank posted today to SEC. Joe, sure. If you want to link it in the Discord or something, we'll be happy to take a look. I guess talking about when I was talking about the smoking and the what is it called? And the healthiness of HCMC. Daryl says, we had a respiratory therapist open a smoke shop here to close me. Talk about counter conflict. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? They're like, hey, you know, oh, you're not breathing so well. Why don't you come to my clinic and something like that? That's crazy. Chris, yeah, I'm curious about these FTDs as well. Yeah, if someone wants to send me something, that'd be crazy. That'd be great. Kendall says, hi, Corey. Hello. Today is a great day. My Webull transfer went through. Kendall, I'm so happy for you. This is great news. I'm glad that that happened. That's good stuff. What a skill. Very nice. But anyways, yes, Kendall, how long did it take for that to happen for your how long did it take for your Webull account to go through? And where'd you go to? Oh, to Webull. And how long did it take, though, is my question. Marquis says, I'm not sure what the, but well, I can't remember the context, but let's see. Marquis says, nope, I think the opposite. It's going to the $25 to $30 range in the next 8 in the next or 8 in the next few days. All right. I love it. Jared says, what is a good price to get in Tesla if I want to buy in the next few days? Let's take a look. Every time. All right, Tesla. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. The stock is a mess. Okay, so we did talk about Tesla yesterday, I think it was, right? And we have these levels of support and resistance. So we can see here. So I was wondering if it was going to test this level of support. It did test it, broke right through. And so now we're in a weird spot, right? We don't know where the heck we are. We do have this another level of support right here. Realistically, just for this chart, I'm going to move this up a tad till it's touching all of these points. You know what? I like that one right here. I know it's not touching these, but it's touching all of these back here. And we can I go up one more? Right there. I like that one. So here we do have this level of support around, what is this, 670, we'll call it. Sure, 670. And so right now we're obviously hovering very, very close, 673 in the after hours. And now the question is it going to break through? If it breaks through, you know, you might want to hold off for a little bit, or what you could always do is average down if you wanted to put maybe 25% in, and if it goes down another 25%, something like that. Those are strategies. There are different strategies like that that you can look into. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to add that to my course because I want to make sure I have entry strategies in here. All right, got that added. Good question. Thank you. So, so as far as an entry point goes, it really just depends if it holds here. If it continues to dip, you know, you could see another level of support around maybe 650 or something. I'd feel pretty good about that one, and then just continuing to go down. But realistically, it's kind of hard to tell which way it's going to go. But it does look a little oversold in the RSI. So it could be recovering here. Anything under 30 is oversold. Anything over 70 is overbought. But yeah, you may want to wait out. And realistically, what you'd be waiting for is see if it continues to drop. If it doesn't drop anymore, you know, you'd rather catch it on the way up than catch it on the way down and keep having an average down, average down. It gets a little tricky to do that, right? Alex says, hey, any opinion on how to deal with YouTubers like Uncle Bruce with the title of AMC to $5 spreading FUD and dividing the apes? Unfortunately not, you know, like, unfortunately not. It's really unfortunate whenever, you know, people try to divide the apes and stuff like that. Like realistically, apes together strong, you know. It's like, unless you wanted to go in and but he doesn't care, you know. If you wanted to go in and say, you know, subscribe to him, pay him $5 or whatever so you can chat, or maybe do a super chat or something, and say, and just give him a nice calm reason why he should just apes together strong or something, then hey, you can do that. But you know what, for me, I just kind of block it out. I'm not, while I don't know, like, you know, I feel like if you're in AMC, if anyone in here reads that message, right, that you just said, and sees Uncle Bruce saying AMC to $5, and if they believe it, then, you know, they really, I guess they didn't believe in AMC, they didn't know the information, or maybe they weren't educated, who knows. But for me, I feel that it kind of doesn't bother me. I don't like the FUD. I just get worried about other apes who may not know as much, and you know, they get shaken out of their positions or something. And, you know, what if AMC goes to $100 tomorrow, or in a week or something, in a month, whenever, and now Uncle Bruce just gave them bad advice and they missed out because they trusted him and they listened to him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So who knows what's going to happen? But, you know, it's just unfortunate is all I can really say about that. Nothing I think we can really do about it. Just continue to bring people and educate people, and I'll talk to them, but if they find me, but that's about it. Thoughts on Clove? We did talk about Clove a few times. Gosh, I'm gonna have to make a video on Clove. Everybody asked me about Clove. Clover Health Investments. So pretty good stuff of what they're doing. Like I like what they're doing. The part that I really like is, I mean, like real-time data, PPO, HMO plans. I mean, good stuff. Healthcare industry is not going anywhere. I think the institutional ownership, 4.46, nothing really here on the financials. So it's kind of tricky to tell exactly what's going on with the stock. You'd have to just do a little bit of research and see what's going on, you know, like what their future plans are, what they're trying to do. But, you know, Medicare to seniors and stuff, like, not going anywhere. I do like this part right here, driving real-time, data-driven, and helps clinical decision-making. And, you know, that kind of stuff is it's important, you know, because especially if someone, I don't know, if someone couldn't take care of themselves, or someone didn't really know what to do, and these guys are kind of, and granted, you know, don't get me wrong, they're a business, they're trying to make money. But if these guys can help, you know, their patients with these kinds of things, you know, clinical decision making, you know, some stuff that is data driven. Like, for example, if you have diabetes, then you may have this as well, or, you know, something like that. But I'm not sure if that's exactly what that means, but could be some good stuff. And so as far as a chart setup goes, let's look at the 6 month really quick. You can see it looks like they bottomed out for a little bit. Looks like they're back in kind of bullish territory. As you can see, the 15 MA crossed over the 200 EMA, which is, you know, bullish indicator here. Then and it is, so it's looking pretty good. It had a squeeze down, as you can see. I had this here before, squoze down, broke through pretty strong, retracing a little bit, but I feel like you're still in bullish territory here. And realistically, these kind of healthcare stocks they're long-term holds, right? These aren't short-term kind of like, probably swing traded or something. I mean, I guess theoretically you could something like this, right? But even this was 12/17 to 12/30, we'll say. So, you know, 15 days or whatever. But I like the stock, you know, I like where it's at. I do think it's a long-term hold, but could be pretty good. What are the analysts saying? $15, $12, $10, not bad. What's up, Kimberly? Wellington says, how come nobody's talking about the possibility of Wanda selling more of their 30 million shares? You know, Wellington, and, you know, we did see this. I think Adam Aaron was saying that Wanda very well could sell out of the rest of their shares just because of the, what was it? Their government wants the money to be in their country. I think it was China. Is where Wanda's from, something like that. They want their money within their economy, which I understand, right? Makes sense. We want U.S. companies to be in the U.S., you know, the money being spent in the U.S., yada yada. invested in the US. And so I totally understand. So realistically, they were saying that Wanda was basically, you know, their hand was being maybe forced or pushed or pressured or something to pull out and put that money in that economy. And realistically, the rest could happen with those shares. But realistically, you know, it's kind of even like the 46 million shares, right? Yes, it's possible for that to happen. I think the only thing that I would want people to know is just be educated on and think about it logically. Okay, well, if that happens, what do you think is going to happen with the stock? What do people think? And, you know, I'd say, I think Trey made a video last night. Trey said that he doesn't, the 46 million shares, he says is nothing. He's not worried about that at all. And so if he's not worried about the 46 million shares or 43 million shares, whatever it is, he's definitely not worried about the 30 million shares. And so I'm kind of, that's what I've been saying the whole time too, right? We just so happen to agree on that, which I'm sure we probably agree on a lot of things, but yeah, I'm not too worried about it. My only concern is the lack of education or the lack of conviction that people would have, and they would see something like that and people would freak out. People would just like sell. And that's their prerogative if they want to get out of it. But we were like, oh, we would never do that. Well, guess what? We had a bunch of people, even in my chat, we had people come in and say, Adam Aron is releasing the 500 million shares. And he wasn't. That was after the Jim Cramer interview. That media company posted, or I think it was like CNBC or whatever, posted that Adam Aron is doing the 500 million shares, and he said yes to it, and it's being released. Everyone came in and was shilling. It was all over Reddit. It was all over this. And no, that's what just the news article said. No one even read the article, and no one watched the interview that was in the article. And people were just giving the wrong information. And it's obviously not true. Now, obviously, those 500 million shares are off the table. But so people just want to be the first to share the news, right? So if they release the 30 million shares, I know exactly what's going to happen, which is why I'm trying to raise awareness, raise kind of education on this, because people are going to come around everywhere, all over Reddit, all over this, all over that. And they're going to say, you know, 30 million shares being released, like, and they're going to, I'm afraid they're going to freak out, and they're going to freak other people out because they're not going to put any context. You know, maybe they're not going to put their opinion, or who knows. But for me, even if they did release those 30 million shares, I wouldn't be worried about it, just personally. Like, I'm going to continue to hold, and I have no problem. Jonathan says, I don't think anyone, Jonathan says, I'm not going to hold that long. I think this is in reference to I'm holding until January 21st. Jonathan says, I'm not going to hold that long. I don't think anyone in their right mind will. So Jonathan says, people have their life savings in this and can't hold off for a couple months. Another year of holding is stretching it. So Jonathan, this is a good point, right? And so, you know, let's say you do want to get rid of your investment of AMC after, let's say, 3 months or something, right? Well, okay, what are you going to invest in? If you put all your money in and then you pull it out, right? Let's say you have it in AMC, you've had it in for less than a year, you pull it out, that's capital gains tax. Now with that capital gains tax, 30%, let's say, let's lowball it, short-term capital gains tax, let's say it's 30%. So let's say you put in your life savings of, let's say, $100,000, and now you just pulled out all that money. Well, I guess you have $70,000 left, okay, after you're taxed on it. So, you know, that's things that people have to keep in mind. Now, granted, I think that the stock is going to go up just naturally after all that time. But, you know, realistically, what kind of gains are you looking to get on a stock? If you're going into the market and every single year, and just to have a small reality check, just on traditional old school long-term positions, you know, if you have this money, right, and you have it in the S&P 500, something like that, your gains, and this is a weird year, right? Whereas if you put your money in March 18th, you've already been like, you would have made crazy amount of money. But as far as, you know, the traditional S&P 500, let's say there's no COVID, we were a few years ago. What's your returns per year? Do you know what your average return would be per year? 20% on a good year. Okay, 20% on a good year. I mean, maybe a little bit higher, you know what I mean? But on maybe around average, let's say 15 to 20%, sure, okay? And people are happy to get that 15 to 20% gains. Now, as far as AMC goes, if it goes to, and that's over 1 year, you know, let's say 20%, just call it 20, make it easy. That's over 1 year. Now, if AMC goes to $20 in, let's call it a year, and it doubles in 1 year, then that is excellent, excellent returns on your money. And you should be happy about that, because, you know, a lot of people are new traders. They don't know that. They think, they see, this is what they look at. One day they look at this, they're like, okay, well, I can get, you know, 50% return. And now here's the deal. If you're moving your money all the way around and this and that, and you pick all the winners magically and you won't, you know what I mean? Like, if you do everything perfectly, you could get some good returns, right? But just realistically, you know, you have to think about that as averages and like what you can and cannot make. And so I'm not trying to scare anybody out of their position. I'm not saying people are going to be bad traders. I do anticipate that I'm going to continue to make good plays for, you know, everyone thinks they're going to do fantastic. And, you know, I've been doing a lot of research. I did very, very well my first year trading and stuff. So I foresee this continuing, but I'm willing to hold also. And if I'm going to pull my money out because I get bored and I don't want to trade it anymore, then, you know, that's a decision I'll have to make. But and that's a decision you have to make. If you don't want to hold for 8 months or whatever, if you feel like that's a waste of your time and money, then that's all right. And I hope that you get into play that prints. But, you know, just my little 2 cents on it. And I just want to give people realistic expectations about what could happen in the future. Okay, Diamond is here, everybody. Diamond's here. We can start the show. We can get it started. All right. Sorry, Diamond. I've been waiting for you. I've been over here rambling away, waiting for you to show up so we can start the show. Where was I? Where was I? New York Angelo also mentioned May 19th. Yes, I've seen people mention May 19th. I just need an article or something to find it. Actually, I think you had a quote in there, didn't you? Dang it, I lost it. May 19th, established at April 28th. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can search this phrase directly in here. No, sure enough, I'm not seeing anything in here that is leaning that is even close to what that is. So hopefully there's something in here that'll walk me through it. If someone has a link, again, I'd be happy to see it in the Discord. You can send it to me on the stream. Let me make sure I have my Discord open. Just in case. We'll put this up here. The chat during live stream. All of us thinking about opening positions on CTRM. Okay, Cornus says, is it a buy? Okay, Corey. Let's see. Sold off my profits from Mavis and was able to buy 500 more shares of AMC. Geez, while they were on discount. I love it. I love it. That's what I did. You know what I mean? I would ride other stocks. I was doing well, had good positions. I sold out, bought in a bunch of AMC, and I'm happy about it. I'll hold it. I have no problem holding it. Alex says, I appreciate the answer. I appreciate the Ape Fam supporters. Appreciate the good advice. Hey, no problem, Alex. Always happy to help. I think just, you know, Apes together strong. And if you don't like his community, don't worry about his community. You know what I mean? We have a great community here, and I couldn't ask for anything else. Alex, I'm with you 100%. Alex says this, the reason I stayed in AMC on January 28th is because I thought the price could naturally go up, but the squeeze is just a bonus. I'm with you. And that's why it's so easy for me to hold, right? Like, Yes, I got in at a good position. Yes, and everything like that. But even if I got in at $5, even $10, I feel like it's a such a good place for to get in this company that is gonna in my opinion, do very well this year and next year. I think they're gonna have, especially right now, I think they have 2 solid years, especially because of the movies that are going to be released. People really aren't releasing that many movies this year just because they're not too sure about capacity and yada yada. But I think toward the end of the year, we'll probably get some movies out. And but some of them have already been pushed out for next year just because you know, they didn't know what was going to happen. So they pushed it out just to be safe. So I think next year is also going to be a solid year for movies. I think they're going to release the good movies next year. DeMarkey says, Uncle Bruce, more like a clickbait title. If AMC falls back to $5, I'll buy even more to average down. If AMC goes to $5, I'll probably literally sell my truck. Like I don't know. I'm back. Oh gosh. You know, it's bad whenever I'm back, like looking around my room, like for stuff to sell. I don't know what I'd be scared of what I would do if AMC went back to $5. Alex says Wanda won't intentionally hurt the stock from history. You know, I'm not too sure about that, Alex. You know, just, and that's my, you know, your opinion, and I respect it. My opinion, I don't think they care about the stock that much. You know what I mean? I think they want to. I'm sure they've already made money. I'm sure they want to take their money. I don't know if they really. If they are anticipating a squeeze, which I really don't know what long hedge funds are thinking about it. I wonder if they are trying to get the other hedge funds in a position to force a squeeze, or if they just like the stock because of the sentiment behind it. You know what I mean? And maybe they feel the same way we do. Maybe they feel like, oh, it'll probably go up anyways. So we'll just have to see. So I don't know, but I guess it could go either way. I just want to give you my counter opinion just real quick. Zunga says, even if Bruce is giving an unbiased opinion on AMC, which I doubt, but hard to judge that based on his consistent promotion of him charging $400 an hour for advice and all his promo of his merch. He charges $400 an hour for advice. Holy smokes. That's crazy. You don't pay tax on the initial investment, though. If you make 30,000, you'll pay 10,000. You make 30,000, you make 10,000. Okay, well, there you go. Oh, well, I'm anticipating if they would have put it in. So that was I should have explained the tax part, guys. What I was explaining is if they would have bought in at, you know, $5 or something, right? Let's say they put it in. I guess I should have asked when they put the money in. But realistically, if it stays even, well, that's another story. But I'm talking about if they would have put it in like at $5 or something, or earlier in the year, depending on when they went in, or maybe they went in at like $14, and if they took it out at 10 for a loss, really just depends. I was also thinking about if they purchase it at $10 and at the end of the year, let's say it's a minimum of like $20 or something like that, they double their money. So I apologize. I should have explained that better. That was my mistake. I apologize. Which leads me to my next point of please be careful investing what you cannot afford to lose. I think Trace says it best. It's Wall Street bets, not Wall Street guarantees. So just things to think about. Way behind in chat. I'm way behind in chat. I'm catching up. I'm getting very close though. Oh, sent to my Discord. Thank you. Let's take a look. Discord. Copy link. Let's take a look. Let's close this one. Okay, let's take a look at this. Keep in mind, I have not screened this. I don't know anything about this. Looks like it's on AMC stock subreddit. And we'll take a look. 1.5 up. This was 9 days ago. 1.5 upvotes. This is the longest article I've ever seen in my life. Wow, impressive work. Thanks. I'm seeing if anyone has any negative. This is the way. And granted, this is not really how to check up, but just in case someone at the top has a. Okay, some good comments. Sometimes at the top you'll see something like negative, and you know, or something just explain like, this isn't exactly right, stuff like that. So let's read this first part. Is there a TLDR? Okay, I don't see a TLDR. No. All right, so let's read this first part really quick, and then we'll just go from there. So, Apes, our saga is getting juicier. Okay, I hope that you enjoy my educational AMC timeline. My goal was to compile and clearly explain the chronology. I can English. So, of events in recent AMC history in order to provide permanent. Okay, so just stuff like this, paint a picture, get potential. Okay, so we really have to go through the whole chronology of everything. What a pain. I didn't think it was a real word. Chronology. I love it. I'll have to take a look at this a little bit later so I can really dissect it, break it down a little bit. But interesting stuff. I buy the rips and sell the dips. Alex says, I love this community. AMC group seems to be way more inclusive of others than GME. I support them too, but happy we're here. Let's all go to the moon together. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I love AMC and GME. I see what you mean. On the Super Stonk subreddit, it seems to be, I don't know. Here's the deal. I'm on that subreddit all the time. But sometimes I see these posts about like, you know, AMC's fake or whatever, and you know, it's like, I mean, I don't think AMC's fake. Whenever GameStop was running, AMC started to run too. I support everybody. But I think some of the GameStop people just seem to be a little more elitist. Not all of them, obviously, but some of the posts I see are just a little shocking. I'm like, oh my gosh. But either way, Ape Strong together. I hold the stock. I love it. Michael says, when is AMC going up? I keep telling myself... Patience, my son. Relax and hold the freaking stock. Yes. Here's the deal. It's hard to say when it's going to go up, right? We're just waiting. We're holding. We're waiting on some kind of catalyst. There's going to be something that gives, right? And realistically, we're at a good spot. We've been climbing slowly but steadily. And I think there's going to be a catalyst soon enough that is going to just skyrocket us. There's this new May 19th thing. There's the... Oh, okay, hold on. That's where I wanted to see May 19th. Okay. You know, I've seen so many, I think I've seen posts like this before, you know, where they talk about these days and stuff. I feel like they were supposed to cover this. Maybe I'm confused though, but they're saying we could be looking at Archegos times 100, which is pretty crazy to see. And, we'll see. I like it. Here's the deal. I hope it happens, right? I don't want to shill or anything. I hope it happens. But I'm still, if it doesn't happen, here's the deal. My date hasn't changed, right? I'm still, let's say, January. But if it happens before January, I'll be happy. I'm not going to put all my call options for, you know, May or whatever it would be, hoping for this date. And it's just because, you know, people hype up these days so much that, and whenever it doesn't happen, they get disappointed and yada, yada, yada. And I really would rather just be prepared for the future. Now, if you're not really going to be all crazy and be like, oh, this sucks and I'm selling, then hey, May 19th, let's shoot for May 19th. It doesn't happen, we'll find another date and we'll be happy, and we live to see another day. We're good. But you know, I just want to be just a little more cautious with these things. But I always have hope. I always have hope, and I'm always looking toward the future. And I hope it happens on May 19th. But we'll see. But people are also saying May the 4th also, right? Because of it's supposed to be the share recount, supposed to be this. It was supposed to be April 24th, 22nd, something like that. So, you know, we've had a lot of dates. Hopefully this is the actual, you know, failure to deliver synthetic shares. This is actually factual. I wish there would have been some kind of link. Like, you see how they link this one here? Although I guess this is a news article, but I wish there was something a little more concrete in here that would say my source. So this is my source. This is why I think this is going to happen. Yada, yada, yada. And I would love to see this. But, and you know, maybe I'll reach out to this person. I've reached out to a few people, and maybe I can get them on the show, see if they have a source. See, they have some good sources on here. Most of these are just news articles. Oh no, here we go. A press release from like SEC. Is this a news release though? Oh yeah, this is like an actual press like news release. But either way, I like how they have sources here. I wish they would have sourced that one though. Yeah, I do think it's a little weird that, and here's it, it probably was clickbait. People still talking about Uncle Bruce. It probably really was clickbait, you know, to try and get people to sell or whatever, but, or, you know, whatever it was, just trying to get people to go on his channel and see, you know, obviously it got some of you guys, you know what I mean? Like to go and look at it, but that's all right. Is Kendall still here? Kendall, let me know, what was I going to say? How long it took to switch to Webull? How many days it took? So Michael, that, you know, unfortunately I don't have a direct answer for you. No one has a direct answer, but I'm just holding and I'm chilling. So I talked a little earlier about just hanging out, being happy with my position, holding and just waiting for it. You know, that's just kind of what I'm doing. GME, AMC, we're all in it together. I love it. Who said that? The Radio Man. I concur, my friend. Let's get this pulled up here. Where was I? Where was I? Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Said. I'm just catching up, guys. Catching up. Catching up. I'm not frozen. I'm not frozen. That's crazy. $400 for a private session. Good for him, is what I'll say. People are willing to pay that. Supply and demand. You can't hate on a guy for and you're not hating on him. I see what you said, but $400 is steep. But you know what? If they think he's worth it, then if it's worth it to them, you know, that's business. But that's kind of crazy. I don't think I would ever charge anything like that. Desperate to win. All right, all right. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I had to find a comment over here. So Rick says, okay, but yeah, I think I'm done talking about Uncle Bruce, guys. Like, here's the deal. He's going to do what he does. He's happy. His viewers are happy, right? Because if they're not happy, they wouldn't watch him. And I'm just going to let him do what he does. And so I'm not too worried about it. Here's the deal. He, you know, whenever you're that big, you have your haters and stuff, and he decided that he was going to block out the haters by making his channel members only. And so I'm not sure if he gets haters that pay, and if they pay, then, you know, jokes on the haters for paying, and it is what it is. But I'm sure he's in his way, and he's happy about it, and I'm just going to let him be happy. You know, no worries. No worries. CT says, I think AMC needs a catalyst, and either 005 or 801 are it. If either of those are implemented, this rocket is launching, and that is DTCC 005. I'm assuming not NSCC 005. Beverly, I bought more today. Charlie says, I believe the CEO announcement will be the catalyst for GME. Okay. May the 4th be with you. Always. Happy coin, rising. Plethora says, guys, if you hold AMC, ignore certain streamers. Don't question anything. It's FUD. Let it roll off. Right, right. And here's the deal. Like, I see that, right? If I would have seen that title, I would have thought clickbait. There's no factual information that it's going to $5. There's no factual. It's you know, could it? I guess theoretically, right? But likely, not likely in my opinion. Honestly, this might be a little controversial. I think it's kind of crazy, but I feel like a dip, if it dipped down to $5, would probably be could potentially be a catalyst for a squeeze, honestly, because if it dipped down to $5, I feel like everybody would buy, right? A lot of people would buy in hoping for a squeeze, and I think that would just come some kind of skyrocket. And I think if it were to hit $5 again, I feel like the hedge funds would probably try to cover since it was kind of low, and they would try to start covering there. But I think the momentum would get too crazy, and it would just force itself to squeeze. Krakatoa. Donate live on Fridays to charity. What do you mean, Nicholas? CT says, I didn't buy more today, but the moment it goes under $10, I will buy more. My average is $8.50 at the moment, but I'm happy to go to average up. No sweat. I'm with you. I'm with you, CT. Rick says, stock trading is a lot like watching paint dry. I don't need the money to live, so I can wait. It doesn't bother me. And Rick, that's actually a very, in my opinion, healthy way to think about these stocks. This stock, here's the deal. If you need a get rich quick scheme, stocks might be the way to do it, but yikes, you know what I mean? What a risk, especially if you can't afford to lose the money. It gets very, very, very scary very quickly. But you know what? I think it's Warren Buffett says something, his quote is something along the lines of the stock market is a way of, what is the freaking quote? Oh, two T's. Quote. Oh, there it is. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. And that is exactly what, right? That's like what you're saying here, essentially. Like, here's the deal. If you can sit on the money and if you could sit and wait and hold it, like, not every stock is a winner, just to be crystal clear, but potential, so much potential. Michael says May 10th has something to do with the SEC or DTCC margin call expiration. Does this person talk about this here? March, April, May 10th, I think you said. April, May. Jeez, this is thorough. What the heck? Oh, okay, it's not in here. Whoops. Tamarki says, I like my supper time with Corey. To the moon. I like to see the growth. Keep it up. Hey, thank you so much, Nicholas. I've been what's good, homie? I've been, just grinding. That's all you can do. Every day, all day. Just working on it. So thank you, my friend. Rick says, even when it shot up to 14, I didn't sell. Yeah, same. I didn't sell at 25. I wrote it from $2 to 25. Back down. Never sold a share. I don't know if I'm a genius or a fool. Hopefully I'm more of a genius than anything. Wendy says there has to be whistleblowers that work at Citadel that are willing to share information of what is really going on. Yeah, here's the deal. And there have been some whistleblowers, we don't know where from, but we've seen the SEC has been issuing millions of dollars, I think it was like millions of dollars to whistleblowers. Of course, it's all anonymous. We don't know where they come from, who they're whistleblowing on, yada, 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 who they are, anything like that. But we've seen that they have been doing payouts, right? And it's something I wanted to cover in a video, but so much speculation, like, and nothing's happened yet. And, maybe, and remember, for the FBI, like, oh gosh, here we go. Little tinfoil hat time, story time. We've seen maybe in movies and stuff, right? Oh, actually, I've seen this in documentaries. The FBI, for example, a DEA, whoever, they can spend years gathering evidence on people to take them down. Because if they go too early and they take them, incorrectly or whatever, they can get sued, this and that, and the other. And, worst case scenario, they could be like let go and flee or something. You know what I mean? And so what they do is they make sure they have a concrete case. So while we have seen the whistleblowers within the past few months, maybe the SEC is waiting for more whistleblowers, or whoever it is waiting for more whistleblowers, more this, more evidence, more that. And then they'll make their move. But, that's a little more speculation there. But, there has to be a whistleblower, right? Has to be. So we'll have to see. Let's see. CT says AMC has a government running interference on their debt due to the pandemic. Theaters are opening worldwide. Everyone has cabin fever. Yes. I like what I'm seeing. And we have Adam freaking Aaron. Yeah, here's the deal. Bullish is what I'll say. Bullish. AMC is solid for 2021 and most of 2022. Fully agree. Philly says a lot of catalysts in May. That's all I'm saying. Always take everything with a grain of salt. Absolutely, Philly. Thank you, my friend, for sending that article and sharing it. So, absolutely. Or I think it was Philly that shared it. Yeah. Hamo says a short squeeze not happening is very likely, very unlikely. A short squeeze not happening is very unlikely, as AMC is currently the most shorted stock and the most held stock, beating both Apple and Tesla. Mark Cuban put it bluntly, keep holding. And I'm with it. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to hold. And we've seen it, right? We've seen this stuff. Actually, I am a little bit curious with the Fintel numbers. We did see, if you've been following, well, actually, let's cover this really quick. I think I spelled that wrong. April 29th, AMC. So he said this. He also replied to his own tweet, I believe. This one. Okay, so let's read this first. So this was the original one. So short interest is not a record anymore. I think yesterday it was around 25%. Today around 23.26. Still happy about it. Shares on loan 150 million. It was 155 million, I believe. And utilization still at 100%. Okay, still at 100%, still bullish. Now, important detail. Shares on loan dropped by roughly 5 million, but the utilization remains 100%. This tells me that a considerable amount of shares were returned to the original owner, but who is no longer willing to lend them out. As to why, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe it's more risky, maybe it's this. I guess it really just depends, but you know, hard to speculate on what's going on. But as we can see, here's the deal. These are still fantastic numbers, and I still feel good about it. I'm curious to see what they'll look like tomorrow, and I'll cover it tomorrow. Seth says, Mavis, let's talk about it. Oh gosh, let's not. You know what I mean? Oh gosh. Wow, 20. Okay, so down 14.24% during the day. After hours, this has continued, guys, since we've been on the stream. It started at 18% whenever I first got on, 18 or 19%. Now it's at 21%. So this is moving. We're currently at 14.19. So boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Clover says, I once paid $1,000 to a YouTube, I guess a YouTuber to get my ex-girl back. Did it work? No. Was it worth it? Yep. Ah, okay. That's interesting. Yes, DTC 005. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Philly says, I also seen Melvin Capital lost 22 billion in assets and only down to 350 million in assets. Right. And so, you know, what's interesting is, and these numbers that we've been seeing, right, we know that these numbers are not only, well, I guess what people have been saying is these numbers are on some of them are, those are the realized losses, right? That they may have way more unrealized losses. If that's the case, if they have so much more unrealized losses, holy smokes, like crazy stuff. Zaza says, I never invested, but I brought 300 shares. Hey, hopefully that prints for you, Zaza. Hopefully it prints. Corbin says, if AMC went to $5, I would buy as many shares as my wife would let me. Here's the deal. I would, yes, she'd probably buy some shares too. Absolutely. I'm with you. Heck yeah. Nicholas says, Corey, Trey, Matt, and Jackson are my top fave to watch for DD. Super unbiased, motivational, and up to date. These guys deserve gold. Hey, thank you, Nicholas. Just trying. I'm sure that's all we're trying. Everybody's just trying their hardest, trying their best. I appreciate the support, my friend. Whoa, sorry, Seth. I got a little behind in the chat. If there's anything specific you want to talk about in Mavis, I'm more than happy to talk about it. Henry says, if AMC went to $5, I'd buy so much I wouldn't have a wife. I heard that. She'd definitely leave me for her boyfriend. Oh my gosh. I like at the end. Rewind Seth. Sorry, Seth. Rick says, subscribed. I like your role. Hey, thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. William, AMC million times better odds than the lottery. You know, William, I don't think you're wrong. Is what I'll say. CT says, a truly wise man doesn't ask for riches. He only asks for the ability to see all possibilities. DTC has been careful not to let this cause massive collateral damage, and I don't blame them. Absolutely. The DTC, they don't want to be bag holding. They don't want collateral damage to the other hedge funds who are playing by the rules. They don't, you know what I mean? Like they don't want it to go as awry as it looks like it might go at 100%. So I think that they're just going to be as careful as possible whenever it comes to, and why I think they're rushing out all these rules. They're fixing these rules that are, who knows how old these rules are. They're finally fixing them. And I wonder why. All of a sudden they're fixing all these rules. Wonder why. CT says Ortex shows a change to short interest of negative 1.78%. Remember, brokerages need to collateralize the shares they lend out. Reduction is likely them demanding the shares back from shorters. Very interesting. HCX says, you guys think AMC will really hit 100K? So realistically, and we've seen the numbers, right? If you've been on Reddit, I've seen some crazy stuff of why literally, I think it was GameStop to 10 million, maybe higher, was possible, just based on they literally have the collateral. The money is there for it to hit that. And you have to keep in mind, like, it is totally I believe it's totally based on apes. If apes want to hold to $100,000 per share, theoretically, you know, the money is there to pay for it. Now the question is, you know, I saw a post, it was either a post or a comment in a Reddit post, and it said, hold for a number that is, don't hold for a number that is big to you, hold for a number that is big to them. And I freaking like that a lot, because you know what? If I hold to a number that's big for me, $1,000, that's insane. If I hold a number for that's big to them, 10K, 50K, 100K, million, that's crazy. That's the crazy stuff. So if people are willing to hold, and here's the deal, I think there's going to be a point of no return. So what I mean by this is if we get past 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000, I think once we get past 2,000, if and when we get past 2,000, that we will finally truly understand that anything is possible. And I think if it goes past 2,000, I would not be surprised if people did hold till 10. Maybe 10 would be a little bit of a struggle, and then but after 10 it would just be crazy. I would not be surprised if after that people saw the power of it and held. Now keep in mind, this is all theoretical. If you know, Joe over here decides I'm gonna sell at $100 or whatever, you know, might not affect the squeeze, you know. But if people start getting freaked out at a high number and start selling, then it might be a little rough. But I think whenever it starts to squeeze, a lot of people are gonna jump in, and you know, and what they might see is something similar to GameStop, right? Let's say they saw GameStop and they saw it do, because we saw GameStop, remember, at one point was like $3, and it went all the way, you know, to 500, whatever it was at, 480. And if people start seeing AMC do that, you know, 20, 40, 80, I think 80, a lot of people would buy in, because they're like, holy smokes, this is a GameStop situation. GameStop went to $500, and gosh, I think it would skyrocket. But things to think about, you know what I mean? Theoretically, is it possible? And remember, they have to buy the shares. They won't have a choice. They won't have a choice. What they're gonna do is they're gonna be literally legally forced to cover, and whatever they're forced to cover is whatever you're willing to sell at, because they will have to find those shares. And if they can't find the shares, they're gonna have to pay more money until someone says, okay, fine, I'll sell it to you, because that's the position they put themselves in. They will not have a choice, and I can't emphasize that part enough. They will not have a choice. HCX says, for real, so what's a good price to realistically sell at? And so that's where we come to floors. And if you haven't seen my MOAS game theory video, I probably recommend taking a look at it, because it's hard to say. So And if you watch that video, you'll understand how floors work and how, you know, you go up. So for example, let's say my floor is $1,000. This realistically, if it goes $1,000, I'm probably a multimillionaire and I'm like, good, I don't even care. So realistically, and you know, people only want so much. Like, I'm not a greedy person. I'm not very materialistic. Even if I had, you know, $50 million, I'm not gonna buy a yacht. I'm not gonna buy this. I'm gonna get a house, like get my mom a house. Like if I was stupid rich, I'd get us both humble houses, and just travel and live happy, comfortable life. And that's what I would like realistically do, just, you know, for myself or whatever. You know, well, I was going to get into everything, like help people out, blah, blah, blah. But realistically, I would live, you know, and I don't need much money to do what I want to do with my life. And so let's say my floor is $1,000 and I'll have, you know, tens of millions of dollars, however much. Now, if I'm on the way down, right? So let's say it goes to 10,000. I would just continue to hold, you know, let's give it 50,000, continue to hold. So my floor is 1,000, right? So let's say it goes to 10,000 and I miss it and it goes all the way down to 1,200. I hold 15 and then it goes down. Whenever it hits 1,000, I'll just sell on the way down because I don't want to mess it up on the way up if it keeps going. So I'd be happy with, let's say 1,000. Now, you know, and your floor can change. Let's say it goes to let's say it goes from 1,000, 5, 10, you know, 15, all the way to 100,000. And theoretically, let's say I was like, okay, well, you know what? I can get a lot more money and people could still squeeze. And well, I'll have the people who got single digit, you know, who have, let's say it's GameStop. Let's say they have, you know, one share. I want them to be millionaire. Well, let it go up or whatever, 10 shares, whatever. Let it go up and then I'll just buy back down at my floor. And so, you know, this is all theoretical. It's like super, I don't want to say tinfoil or anything, but just theories, right? And so that's how you set your floor. Watch the video. It kind of, I don't know if I do a good job explaining it. It's kind of mixed reviews on that, but it is what it is. Take a look and maybe that'll help. So talking about Mavis really quick for Seth, my friend. So Seth says, you know, what do you think's going on with Mavis? Hard to say, man. Like, I think it's oversold right here. You know, while it's not really like oversold on this, let's look at the 3-month or something. We can see it's almost at being oversold. I think it was an overreaction to what happened today. Down 21%. I think it's truly an overreaction. Realistically, I think it's going to recover. I don't know if it'll go back to 30. It might, but they said quarter 3 or 4 could be looking for some. That's when they're trying to launch. What was their exact verbiage? Let's see. We expect that a version of this first generation long range LiDAR sensor, after internal and external validation, reliability, and compliance testing, could be available for sale in initial quantities in the 3rd or 4th quarter of 2021. Okay, so realistically, there could be some very good things, assuming these tests and validation and everything go well, which hopefully it does. Then, you know, you could see some good stuff later this year. So I feel good about this price, even at 18 bucks. I feel good about this price. You know, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'm going to add to my position. I didn't add to it at 10 bucks whenever I'm like, I should add to my position. Still didn't add to it, but that's all right. It's okay. Plethora. Corey is a better streamer than so-and-so. Is only good as a Tobit host or manager. Okay. HCC and the man bro, let's burn these hedgies dry. Love it. Personally, I'm holding for a number that is death to Citadel. You know, what's funny is, you know, even if we held, and this is what we've been seeing with the DTCC and why they're insured. Remember, they're insured for trillions, whatever. I forgot the exact trillion amount, but it's crazy. So, so realistically, if Citadel's, you know what, we're going out of business, we're done, we still get paid. And that's my favorite part about the whole thing. They go out of business, we get paid, yada, yada, yada. And I don't mind a bit. I did see someone ask about a crash. Here's the deal. Theoretically, is a crash possible? If what Austin said, and I have no reason to doubt Austin, Tobit, about what he said, and if it's true, then It theoretically it could. The economy could crash with what is happening, right? And it would not. It would not be our fault. And you know, it would not be Ape's fault, I should say. Ape's didn't do anything wrong. If you think about it, the hedge funds put themselves in a terrible position, and it could have been another hedge fund that found it. And we've seen hedge funds that are long on this because they do recognize that Citadel and these hedge funds or whatever are in. They did. I'm sure they know that they probably did something illegal, like naked shorting, which is why they're short more than the float, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so they should have never done that illegal stuff. They should have covered. They shouldn't have been holding. There's a lot of things that went wrong from the hedge fund sides and the SEC side, the DCC side, that was never fixed, and it would not be our fault or Ape's fault individually. There's no individual apes who decide to hold. Philly says, I feel like if we hit 1K a share, margin call will hit. Philly, I don't think, I think it's too high, my friend. I think it'll hit at 15, 20, maybe 15, 20, 25 bucks. I think it'll, well, no, maybe a little higher. Maybe 20, 25, around there, 30, 40, something like that. I think under 100, I'll say. I think under 100, it'll squeeze, it'll like margin call. Damon, we've been looking at Microvision, and I'm one of those poor investors that you're referring to. So thank you. Let's see. Brent says, I'm thinking of getting contracts now, so when it starts, I could sell a few shares to assign and then increase buying pressure. Okay. CT says, yep, as soon as the squeeze starts, there will be millions of FOMOers jumping in at astronomical numbers. I agree. I think a bunch of people are going to jump in whenever this starts to run. And we see this all the time, right? Especially with like stuff like Dogecoin. Dogecoin starts to run, people jump in and pump it even further. And so, you know, that's what happened. And it kind of lost a little bit of steam. You know, there's a lot of people who are still into Dogecoin, kind of just holding. But there are some people who it ran up, they took the profit, they left, and they're just kind of waiting. And so I think whenever, you know, and realistically for Doge, right, it just takes an Elon tweet or something. Speaking of Doge, where are they at today? It just takes a little tweet, right? And then they just go crazy. So they've been sitting around 30 bucks for a little bit, you know, obviously fluctuating just a tad. But for the past, how long is this? I guess 2 days. Yeah. Bitcoin around 53K. Not bad, not bad. Let's go back to Mavis so I can watch the horror. Corey, why did Mavis have bad earnings even though they skyrocketed earlier? You know, I'm really not sure why the earnings was so like bad. Not good stuff. I mean, here's the deal. I see they have like, the company ended the first quarter of 2021 with 75.3 million in cash, compared to 16.9 million in cash by the end of, you know, Q4. So they have a lot of cash on hand. I'm really not sure what was the revenue. The revenue was just bad. You know what I mean? They didn't have any money, and I'm not sure why they didn't have any money. Why they didn't? I don't know why. Their revenue was so low compared to the previous quarter, or the first quarter of 2020. And I'm trying to think of what could have been the cause. There's obviously something that happened, but I'm not sure. Damon says, Corin Robinhood says down 34% to 14. Yeah, it's not looking so good. We can see here it is 14.19. William says, I wonder how long it'll take to get paid by our brokers when it moons. I mean, realistically, it should, you know, if there's a buyer, whenever you sell your stock, I mean, it should like execute. I'm not sure if that's your question. Okay, so let's read this question. HCX says, I have a question. Let's say, okay, it hits 100K. And let's say a person has 100 shares and they profit 10 million. Does a brokerage have a certain amount or limit you could sell? No, they're your shares. It's your money. It's your everything, right? You can sell all of it if you want. You can get out, and then that money's in your brokerage, and you can transfer it out, or you can do whatever the heck you want with it. You can reinvest it. You can reinvest half, pull out the other half, whatever you want to do. But just make sure you save some for taxes. I'm so lost. Cornet says, I feel like Mavis was way overbought. Even if earnings reports were good, I think buying Mavis back when it gets low will be a good long-term play. Yeah, and so, you know, that's the question. Where's it going to go? If we look at the 1 month, we can see it was down here at 10.08. So, and you know, just was kind of going down. Let's zoom out a little more, 6 month. And you can see how it's been going, right? And so we saw over here, got just almost like oversold in this little area. Not quite oversold, but touching the testing the limits. And then we do know that the earnings was obviously coming up, and we can look for patterns, right? Here's the deal: we're gonna know exactly what's gonna happen in the stock? Absolutely not, but we can look for patterns. So this was however many days. You know, what day was this? The 20th, about 21st. We'll call it right here, the 21st. It started to go up. The earnings was the 29th. And so we can see, let's call it 10 days before, whatever. If you would have gotten in 10 days before, then you'd have been okay. You know what I mean? You would have made some good money. So next earnings, we'll take a look and see 10 days before if it does well, or, you know, other stocks like that. We can take a look and see who's been doing well, who hasn't been doing too well. Now, that's not an exact recipe for anything, but we can see those kinds of sentiment that might happen with the stock. And we saw it kind of retrace immediately, though. CT says, yep, I think hedge funds have a margin call limits of around $30 per share for AMC. Yeah, that would make sense. 30 cents, not bucks. LOL. Jan says, what percentage of their shorts on AMC GME do you think Citadel covered in the January squeezes? Oh, gosh, that's just a hard question, you know, and no one really knows, you know, realistically. I forgot what somebody has said before, but I mean, we could say, let's think of it as an investor, right? Let's take a look at GameStop. AMC is a little more easier to take a look at personally. Let's go back here, right? So theoretically, let's say there's so many different questions, you know, for all we know, they doubled down over here when it went up, right? Because if it's at 25 bucks, you know, question is it going to hold? Do you think it's going to hold? Probably not going to hold. Maybe we'll hold, but realistically, they were already short on it. So they think the stock is worth, you know, evidently zero. If they're still shorting it at $2, remember you can only short it to zero, you know, and they wanted to collect these additional $2 per share. And for $2 per share, they were willing to continue to hold, and hopefully the stock is going to continue to go down. Let me take a sip. Whereas their losses were unlimited in a short. So the question is, you know, what did they do? They covered some here, but for all we know, let's say they covered, I don't know, we'll make up a number, completely arbitrary number. Let's say they covered 10 million shares on the way up. Well, let's call it 100 million. Say they covered 100 million shares on the way up, but now it's all the way up here, right? So for all we know, they bought even more at this $25, you know, and the question is, what is their strike? Maybe they bought it at the $10 strike. Maybe they bought it at the, you know, they need a break even. So where do they buy that break even on the way up? And so No, this is not pre-recorded. I'm live for you, Retro, performing and talking to you directly. So, you know, a bunch of different speculations. There's so many different ways it could go, you know, but hopefully you can kind of see what I'm trying to say is we don't know where they did, how many they covered. If they you know, they could have covered a bunch, but then they bought twice as much on the way back down because they thought it was going to be even more. You know what I mean? So just different ways to think about it. But hard to say. I'm sorry, Jana. I'm sorry I'm so theoretical right now with this answer, but hopefully you can kind of see where I'm going at. Damon says, how are there always buyers for stocks? Isn't there at some point no buyer? We have to remember there's like a bunch of people in the stock market, a bunch of people always in here, especially in these kinds of stocks like AMC. And you can see the volume here, right? I do have a bunch of volume here. You can see these all have a bunch of volume. So there are always buyers in here. And you can see 37.78 million just for the day. Okay, just for today. And so realistic, that's a lot of people just trading the stocks. And realistically, there's always people trying to make money. And I guarantee there are people in here just swing trading. And it is what it is. You know, there's always going to be, it's crazy how there's always a buyer, even at 480, whenever GameStop was all the way up here, there were buyers and sellers all the way through here. $500, buyers and sellers all the way through here. So yes, there's always a buyer and there's always a seller. Oh, so actually there is something. So Jan kind of sparked something here. So Jan says, in times of low volume, trades take longer to go through. You can place a market order, which usually is instant, but it could take a few minutes if there's low buying, selling, buying. That's a good point. And also, let's say there's not really a seller, not really a buyer. Then we'll see, what are they called? Battery halts. What are they called? Battery halts, trading. No, they're called, what kind of halts are they called? Types of halts and trade. There's circuit breaker halts. So there are circuit breaker halts where it pauses for a little bit and then it continue. But yeah, so sometimes there's going to be those halts. And here's the deal. If this starts to freaking run, we could see a bunch of halts. And usually whenever you see a halt, you'll see it like pause and then it'll gap up or gap down, depending on which way it's going. And you'll see those. And that's how you know there's like crazy volatility going on, crazy stuff happening. And we can see GameStop here. It looks like somebody's happy selling their one share at $17,000. And so this is interesting, could be fun, but you know what, if they sold it at 17,000 and then it jumps to 100,000, hopefully they're happy. But that FOMO, you know, that's why and you know, we've seen some stuff about removing your sell limits, you know, all of these things, just because people say if you have this kind of stuff, it kind of show, and I haven't verified this, I don't know if this is true. If anyone has an opinion, I'd love to hear it. They say that if you have a sell limit, sell order, you know, ready to go at a certain price, then the system sees it as a sell. You're wanting to get rid of your share, and it counts it as selling pressure. I don't know if this is true. I don't know anything about that, but something to keep in mind. Robert says, I hope they pump GME to over 1,000. That'd be pretty legit. You have a lot of shares, Robert? Put enough money in for taxes. Yes. When it squeezes, I will be there single and ready to mingle. Same. No, I'm just playing. I think the government would step in and stop us from taking profit. You know, Fabian, actually, I've heard a different theory. And the theory is the government wants the squeeze. They want the squeeze because they want the capital gains tax. And so if this goes to 10,000, a million, whatever the heck it's going to go to, 10 million, whatever it's going to go to, we're going to have to pay short-term capital gains tax. And theoretically, if we all have to pay short-term capital gains tax on, I think the number they were showing is if AMC hits like 2,000 or something, and we all have to pay short-term capital gains tax, they did an approximate number, and it would be trillions of dollars, enough to pay a portion of the national debt. And so that's an interesting theory for if you're talking about the government, right? Realistically, I'm more worried about the hedge funds and the brokerages who are more likely to cancel the squeeze on us. And that's what I'm worried about. But all right, guys, that is going to be the stream for the day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and stopping by. I'm going to start wrapping up here, but I will be on tomorrow for our Friday stream going strong. And that's that. So again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.